Is for one more important topic, that is protozoa. So from the class 11 NCERT textbook, one more topic is going to be discussed, that is protozoans. It is given in 2 pages, page number 21 and 22. Let us see what is there. All protozoans are heterotrophs and live as predators or parasites. They are believed to be primitive relatives of animals. There are 4 major groups of protozoans: amoeboid, flagellated, ciliated protozoans and sporozoans. Let us see the meaning of these sentences. These protozoans belong to the kingdom Protista. We know that Protista means organisms which consists of unicellular eukaryotic cells. Or unicellular eukaryotes are included in the kingdom Protista. Protozoans also belong to this same kingdom. So why they are called unicellular? Because they are single-celled organisms like this. They are eukaryotes because the nucleus consists of nuclear membrane, nucleolus, chromatin reticulum, unlike that of prokaryotic cells. Next, protozoans. The meaning of protozoans is first animals. That means first formed animals. Previously, scientists were considered them as animals or animalcules. Anthony van Leeuwenhoek called them animalcules. From then onwards, scientists were thinking them as animals because they have locomotion, they have movements under the microscope. But later they were classified as protists. They belong to the division Protozoa, one-celled eukaryotes, single-celled eukaryotes, or single-celled animals. Single-celled animals or one-celled eukaryotes are included in the division Protozoa. Goldfuss, George August Goldfuss, gave the term Protozoa for the first time. They are heterotrophs. Protozoans are heterotrophs. Here heteros means other, trophy means nutrition. If they depend on other organisms for their nutrition, we call them as heterotrophs. So here you can see in this picture, amoeba is engulfing or eating or swallowing some other unicellular microscopic organism. That means here in this picture, amoeba cannot prepare its own food material, but it engulfs or eats some other food material. That's why we call protozoans are heterotrophs, heterotrophic organisms. And they are predators. Heterotrophic means they are of different kinds, among which predators are one more kind. Predators means animal that kills and eats other animals. So here in this picture we can see one protozoan that is eating other animals. Next thing, parasites. Para means parallelly, site means the location. Organisms that live on a living tissue. If they live on a dead tissue, we call them as saprophytes. Just to have discussed this thing in the last video. Parasites means they depend on living tissues or on other host. They may be externally or internally present, so we call them as parasites. For example, here we can see Plasmodium, one kind of protozoan, parasitic protozoan or malarial parasite that lives on red blood cells and liver cells of human beings. So this kind of organisms are called parasites. Next sentence in the textbook is amoeboid protozoans. These organisms live in fresh water, seawater, or moist soil. They move and capture their prey by putting out pseudopodia, false feet, as in amoeba. Marine forms have silica shells on their surface. Some of them, such as Entamoeba, are parasites. So, very important words are amoeboid, prey, pseudopodia, amoeba, marine, silica shells, entamoeba, parasites. These things we are going to study in the further slides. So amoeboid protozoans, here the word amoeboid or amoeba comes from amoebi, that means change. Because of the absence of cell wall and pellicle, these organisms change their shape frequently and periodically because there is no any definite shape for amoeba. So this kind of organisms are called amoeboid protozoans. That means for the first formed animals without definite shape are included in amoeboid protozoans. So here prey, one word we got in the textbook. Prey means hunt any organism that is eaten by other organism. So here amoeboid protozoans eat plant cells, individual plant cells, individual algal cells, some other microscopic protozoans, microscopic metazoans or multicellular metazoans or multicellular animals, bacteria. So these are the prey for amoeboid protozoans or for amoeba. Here prey means any organism that is eaten by other organism. Organism which eats another organism is a predator. Organism which is eaten by the some other organism is called a prey. So here the prey is a plant cell or a bacterial cell or an algal cell, like that. Next thing is pseudopodium. Here pseudo means false, podium means foot. Pseudopodium is false foot. This is a temporary protrusion, temporary foot formed from the out of the cells, like this temporary foot. So that will be dissolved later, that will be disappeared later. So what is the main function of this pseudopodium is, first one is locomotion. Organism or amoeba or amoeboid protozoans move from one place to the other place with the help of this pseudopodium. Second important function is food capturing, like this. Pseudopodium captures some other microorganism like this and takes it into the cell. So these are the two important functions of pseudopodium. Here pseudopodium is false food. The two important functions of pseudopodium are locomotion and food capturing. Next, marine amoeba. So in the textbook it is given marine means sea water or salt water or oceanic water. Amoeba which lives marine amoeba which lives in sea water. They have silica shells. Silica shells. Silica means silicon dioxide. Shell means hard covering around the cell. So next important one is about Entamoeba histolytica. This is Entamoeba is mentioned in the textbook. This is a kind of amoeba which is a parasitic amoeba which lives in the small intestine of human beings. It causes a kind of disease called amoebic dysentery. Dysentery means the disease in which a affected person gets dehydration due to continuous motions. This is called amoebic dysentery, where mucilaginous feces will be secreted by the patient. This is a kind of parasite. Amoeba are a freeway organism. Some amoeba like Entamoeba histolytica are parasites on other organisms, especially human being. So next thing is flagellated protozoans. The members of this group are either free living or parasitic. They have flagella The parasitic forms cause diseases such as sleeping sickness, example trypanosoma. Here two important words are there. One is flagellated, that means flagella containing. Next to important word is trypanosoma. Let us see. This is called flagellum, a whip-like structure, a long, slender, hair-like structure that is useful for swimming in water, or that is useful for locomotion or movement of an organism. So that is called flagellum. Any organism which contains flagellum is called flagellated organism. This is the main function of flagellum is locomotion or movement. That's why flagellum is a locomotory organelle. Next thing is Trypanosoma. Trypanosoma, you can see a flagellated microprotozoan in the picture. That is the genus name is Trypanosoma. Species is Gambians. This is a parasite transmitted by ZZ fly. This is mostly found in African continent. It causes a disease called African sleeping sickness, otherwise called a trypanosomiasis. A person will be under a very long sleeping condition. So if that person is not treated, he may die because of this sickness. So this is caused by one genus, one protozoan called trypanosoma. Disease is called African sleeping sickness or trypanosomiasis. It is transmitted one kind of housefly called a CC fly. Next thing is ciliated protozoans. These are aquatic, actively moving organisms because of the presence of thousands of cilia. They have a cavity or gullet that opens to the outside of the cell surface. The coordinated movement of rows of cilia causes the water laden with food to be stirred into the gullet. Example, Paramecium. Here important words are ciliated protozoans. That means protozoans which contain cilia. Aquatic means water living organisms. Cilia means small hair-like structures that are useful for locomotion and food capturing. Gullet means just like we have throat, these organisms have gullet. Next important word is paramecium, an example under ciliated protozoans. So here we can see paramecium. This you can see in the diagram. It consists of cilia, hair-like structures useful for locomotion and food capturing. So this ciliated protozoan is having a definite shape because of the presence of proteinaceous substance called pellicle. Oral groove or vestibulum, you can see that is the mouth, the depression where a mouth of the paramecium is present. It is also called vestibulum. Buccal overture or gullet, which is mentioned in the textbook. Throat-like structure in a paramecium. Cell mouth or cytostome, you can see here. Next, anal pore. Just like other higher organisms have anus for excretion, this minute organism has anal pore or cytoproct. So food vacuoles, just we have already discussed, they are heterotrophs, they are predators, they eat other microorganisms. So that microorganism will be converted into food vacuole that will be digested soon. So it consists of a gelatinous substance called cytoplasm. It has two kinds of nuclei. One is a bigger nucleus called macronucleus, smaller nucleus called micronucleus. These things will be discussed in some other videos. So it has a contractile vacuole or for osmotic regulation, characteristic feature of animals or plants. There is contractile vacuole for excretion is present with radiating canals. So these are the different parts, though all these parts are not given in this paragraph. These things are important to understand ciliated protozoans. So they consist of gullet, cell mouth is there, gullet is there, cell anus is there. So next thing is sporozoans. This includes diverse means different kinds of variable kinds of organisms that have an infectious means disease causing spore like stage. in their life cycle. The most notorious means the most infamous, unpopular is a Plasmodium. That is a malarial parasite. In the last video we have seen Plasmodium. That Plasmodium is nothing but an aggregation of cells of different slime molds. So here Plasmodium is a malarial parasite, a separate genus which causes malaria. Malaria, you know, the cold, the very bad fever, a black fever, or the fever which causes a chilling and sweating at the same time. A disease which has a staggering effect, means very bad effect and very terrible effect on human population. So important words here are sporozoans. That means protozoans which have spores in their life cycles. Infectious means where a disease is spreading from one person to the other person. Plasmodium, a kind of organism which causes malarial parasite. Let us see here. This is Plasmodium. These under microscope, these are very dark structures. The light structures are a blood cell. This dark structure is a Plasmodium, microscopic organism which causes malaria or malarial parasite, we call it. This is spread by Anopheles mosquito. This also will be discussed in detail in some other video. These are the microscopic Plasmodium spores which are present in the RBC red blood cells of human being. So here in this video we have discussed very important things. Let us once revise what we have discussed here. So Protista, unicellular eukaryotes, protozoans, first animals, division Protozoa, one-celled eukaryotes or one-celled animals, gold fossil kind, the term Protozoa, heterotroph, here heteros means other, trophy means nutrition, predators, animal that kills and eats other animal, parasites, organisms that live on a living tissue, likewise amoeboid protozoans, prey, the word pseudopodium, marine amoeba, silica shell, Entamoeba histolytica, amoebic dysentery, parasite, flagellum, locomotory organelle, Trypanosoma, CC5, African sleeping sickness, trypanosomiasis, ciliated protozoans like the Paramecium, gullet. These are the different words. Next, sporozoans, Plasmodium, malarial parasite. These are the important words what we have learnt in this video. Okay ma, thank you very much for watching this video. For doubt clarification, you please write in the below given comment box.